Hello, I'm back. Day 13. We're still together. We're still together. We're still together. I'm not losing it. No, no, sorry, Bobby, Auntie Jones and Betty. No, no, still together. Day 13. However, I have to confess. No, actually, this isn't a confession. My stash of custard creams gone. And it wasn't me. It wasn't me. You would think having to share a house with other individuals that we would create our own space. And I'm not a selfish guy. I mean, basically what I have, I'm quite happy for other people to use within reason. But one of the things which I felt was mine, my custard creams. And I just happened to have a wee look in the box that was hidden in the box, which was in the garage under a push bike that I haven't used since 1930. I just happened to go in there today just to check. They've gone. Gone. And it's no mice. We don't have mice. The mice have eaten the mice. But somebody in this house, oh, of course, maybe there was a burglary. Maybe somebody sneaked in at 3 o'clock in the morning. They've gone kind of stir crazy at home and thought, oh, you know what? I'll go for a wee wander at 3 o'clock in the morning when everyone's in bed. Oh, and I'll just happen to pass the manse. Oh, and I'll just happen to open the garage door and go to a box which is in a box which is behind a push bike that hasn't been used since the 1930s for a custard cream. The custard cream has gone. I'm disappointed. That's all I'm going to say. I'm very disappointed. I can move on now. I have no custard creams. I had to take a moment there to compose myself, to let go of the fact I have no custard creams. I'm now in the zone. I'm connected with my audience of 4. Hello, you know who you are. I won't name names, save embarrassment. Yet. So we are continuing with Mark's Gospel, and we're still in chapter 1. But no, actually, I should share this with you. We're nearly at the end of chapter 1. I've just forgotten the verse we actually are at. 40. I think we're at 40. Verse 40. Chapter 1, verse 40. Which means, if I get this right, oh my goodness, this comes as a surprise, like my custard cream's gone missing. But tomorrow, which is Palm Sunday, it's just surreal. You know, I normally build up to the fact that we're about to go into Holy Week, and I do things differently. But not this year. But tomorrow on Palm Sunday, we could be at chapter 2. Beginning at chapter 2. But chapter 2, we're going to leave chapter 1 behind. Would you credit that? I'm going to put this back down again because I've got another thing to say. Tomorrow is Palm Sunday. And what I'm thinking about going back to the old kirk. I'm moving in my chair. There we go. I need a cushion and a hard sweetie. A hard sweetie and a cushion and a packet of custard creams. Couldn't believe it. Don't believe it. Oh, so tomorrow, back at the old kirk, I might not start on chapter 2. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll do something, obviously, because I'm there on Palm Sunday. And anyway, but I may or may not tomorrow begin on chapter 2. So if you're watching this today, oh, I'm conscious. Here's another thing. I'm aware that that some of you are saving up these philosophical meanderings. Maybe we'll call them that. Not ramblings. That's too common. Philosophical meanderings through history. That's got a ring. That's got a ring to it. Don't you think so?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Philosophical meanderings through history. I like it. Where was I? Where was I with my philosophical meanderings through history? It's come back to me. Unlike my custard creams, they've gone. I'm going to drop the custard creams. I've milked that subject enough. Do you think custard cream's made with milk and custard? Because I've got custard in the cupboards and I've got milk in the fridge. And sugar. There must be sugar in custard cream. Maybe it's not milk, maybe it's cream. Cream, sugar, custard. I wonder if that's it. I make my own. Maybe try that. Yes, that's what I was going to say. I'm aware that some of you do a jigsaw, play Monopoly. I mean, things are desperate. Or Cluedo. Or even watch some obscure channel on the TV. You know, where everything is a bit cloudy. You know, the screen is a bit cloudy and slow motion, and you think that's pants. You know, whatever I'm watching, it's not even in HD. You know, remember those days? I remember the days. Now, some of my younger audience, well, what? What age is this guy? 86. I remember the days when a TV was a luxury. When I was a wee boy, TV, I never had a TV. I mean, I was so poor, I never had shoes. Outside toilet, 2 miles down the road behind a hedge. We were poor, but we were happy. So the TV when I was an older child, when I was a younger child, no TV. But I had a life. I played outside and I spoke to people. But when I became an older child, we had a TV with 3 channels: BBC One, BBC Two, and ITV. And you actually had to stand up and walk across the sitting room and physically touch the TV. It had a button on, off, and then it had other wee buttons. BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, and you had to press. Yeah, I mean, I know. You had to press the on button. You pushed it in, and the TV would come on. And then you had to decide, oh, I wonder what channel I'll watch today. Oh, let's go for BBC Two, Open University. They had philosophical meanderings through history. BBC Two. These YouTube programs are the equivalent of BBC Two. But you would press the button for BBC Two, and BBC Two would come on, and then you would go back to your couch and sit down. And then you would think, I've had enough of philosophical meanderings through history. I want to watch Coronation Street, which meant you had to stand back up again, walk across the floor and press another button. We're spoilt today. Where was I? Yes, I am aware that some of you are saving up these philosophical meanderings throughout history to watch them over one night. So you maybe watch videos 8, 9 and 10 at one go. Whew, like Netflix. I could be on that. Yeah. And that's why I keep changing the top half of my clothes. Because if I wore the same clothes on 3 consecutive videos, you might think I'm poor. I've got no custard creams. I'm poor. starved of love and custard creams and understanding. There's anarchy. Anarchy in this house. Anarchy. Yes, so I change the top half every day. I wash every day. I've got that. I don't shave anymore, but I wash every day. But I'm still wearing my pyjamas. You can't see my pyjamas. But I'm in my pyjamas and my slippers. And I've got a bacon roll at my side. I wish. Enough. Mark. The end of. The... do you know? Do you know? Church Voice. Hello, Church Voice man here. Speaking in the Church Voice in the study with his pyjamas on. I wonder if we should have had a cake with candles to say, we are coming to the end of chapter 1 in Mark's Gospel. Tomorrow, possibly, we might be in chapter 2. But we're not going, we might go back to chapter 1. I like chapter 1. I bonded with chapter 1. Well, here's another thing. Some of you have been in touch to say, do you follow a script? Is there a script hanging up on the wall behind the camera? Do you think there's a script behind the camera on the wall? Don't think so. Chapter 1, verse 40 to verse 45. I'm reading a different Bible. It's the same version, but it's got a different cover. See that? Because I've lost the other one. And it's got, hang on, I might be lucky to, oh, here's one. It's got coloured pictures. See that? I think that's Jonah and the whale. But that really is a story for another day. Only if we're in lockdown in the year 2021, that's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. Just saying. So chapter 1, coming to the end of chapter 1, it's only taken us 13 days from 40 to 45. Oh, you know, I'll give an explanation before I actually do the reading. Normally I give an explanation after I do the reading. This is Jesus continuing his healing ministry. And what I said yesterday or the day before, some time ago, it wasn't Jesus stretching out his arms and zapping people with his magic hands, you know. He was being present with people in their suffering. And what I was trying to say is that many people today are present with people who are suffering. And those people are healers. And a case in point are all those wonderful NHS workers, healers straight away, but also the people who are just doing simple things to help another individual, making the phone call, going on to FaceTiming another individual, or just making sure that somebody has got the daily paper or their weekly paper or a pint of milk. These are all healers. So Jesus, in the beginning of his ministry, is establishing himself as an individual who is open to receiving other people that the religious authorities of the day had rejected. The religious authorities of the day had categories of people who were deemed unclean, and they would be the equivalent of today's outcasts, and we've got outcasts everywhere. I often go down to Edinburgh, not so much now, but I used to go down on a regular basis. And when I got off the train station, when I got off the train at the train station, that would be interesting. When I got off the train, when it arrived at the train station. My journey used to take me up some steps, some steep steps. There's no such thing as non-steep steps in Edinburgh. They're all steep. And if you suffer from vertigo, you couldn't go up these steps. You would get dizzy. But going up these steps, 9:30 in the morning, because my train got in just about that time, there were people sleeping in these steps, in their own urine and alcohol stains, and people just would ignore them, and they were a nuisance, they were a pest. These are human beings that so many of us can dismiss as non-entities, as unimportant individuals. We're important. Get out of my way. That's so wrong. So Jesus had time for those people that would be sleeping outside on steps, whether they are steep or whether they are in Edinburgh or Murray or London. Jesus made time for these people that the religious authorities and others had rejected. So here we go, chapter 1 and verse 40, continuing Jesus's healing ministry. And this one is entitled, Jesus Heals a Man. He's healed a few people, but again, this is another healing account. So a man suffering from a dreaded skin disease came to Jesus, knelt down and begged him for help. "If you want to," he said, "you can make me clean." Jesus was filled with pity and stretched out his hand and touched him. "I do want to," he answered. "Be clean." At once the disease left the man and he was clean. Then Jesus spoke sternly to him and sent him away at once, after saying to him, "Listen, don't tell anyone about this, but go straight to the priest and let him examine you. Then, in order to prove to everyone that you are cured, offer the sacrifice that Moses ordered." But the man went away and began to spread the news everywhere. Indeed, he talked so much that Jesus could not go into a town publicly. Instead, he stayed out in lonely places, and people came to him from everywhere. I'm going to stop there, but I'm coming back because I need sugar of some description and a cup of tea. So watch this. I'm back. I had a cheese scone. Now I'm going to share with you, there is not much sugar in a cheese scone, but the cheese scone was delicious. I'm going to read an explanation here, and it's from William Barclay's The Gospel of Mark, about that chapter that I just read, because although I never use a script, I just make it up, the words come to me. I think what William Barclay says about that particular chapter is worth sharing with you. So I'm actually going to be reading once I get comfortable. I'm going to read you the answers. I've missed an awful lot, because one of the great things about William Barclay, he goes into so much detail about incredibly small things. I don't have time to do that, or we will be here for about the next 10 years. I mean, we're just finishing chapter 1. 13 days it's taken us. I could have probably been quicker, but I like chapter 1. I really do. So this is not my words, this is William Barclay's words, and this is what William Barclay says, because, well, I will give a wee bit of background. In my translation, which I've read to you, I said a man with a dreaded skin disease. Is that what it says? I can't remember. I think it was along those lines, a dreaded skin disease. It's probably leprosy. And leprosy still exists in the world. And when I was younger, without knowing much about the Bible or involved in the church, I must have been told either by a teacher or by Billy McGregor, who was my next door neighbour. Billy McGregor was, I'd be about 10. Billy McGregor would have been about 14. Hello, Billy. If you're listening, he's not. I mean, I just know he's not. But if you are, hello. But Billy McGregor, apparently, I'm glad, I hope he's not listening. He's a big guy. But apparently he knew everything about everything and everyone. And he always used to say to us, because he had a TV, and he always used to say to us when we were going to school, he went to the high school and I was at the primary school, but we've got, high school was there and the primary school was over there, so we would share the, the journey to our respective schools for a wee while. And he was saying, did you know, he never spoke like that. He spoke like this, so did you ken that lepers, white lepers, well, you see if you touch them, you'll get leprosy. So I believed that. He was an older guy, and he had a TV, so it must be true. That's not quite true. And we're not going to get into too much of that at the moment. But we tend to think, church voice, articulate, tend to think that this other healing incident is a leper. Now, the other thing about lepers, this is not William Barclay. Lepers had to wear a bell, ding-a-ding-a-ding-ding-ding, to alert people to stay a distance. It's another parallel to today. I mean, we keep a distance from one another. You go into supermarkets or your local shop, and there are strips of paper, tape, on the floor to say, you need to keep this space between another shopper. Or when you pass people in the street, well, you don't. That's the thing. I'm getting comfortable. You don't pass people in the street. You see someone coming towards you, and this has happened to me. They walk over to the other side of the road, as if I've got some contagious disease, which I might have, but they might have as well. So we're treating one another with caution. Leprosy, exactly the same. My glasses were falling off, but exactly the same in Jesus' day. So lepers kept a distance. They had to keep a distance. They wore bells, and they stayed together. The only people that really accepted lepers was another leper. So you had leper colonies, ghettos, where they would all huddle together. That's where they got their love and their support and their affirmation. So this is quite a radical chapter in the fact that this man came to Jesus. A leper came to him, asking him to help him and kneeling before him. If you are willing to do so, he said the leper, you are able to cleanse me. And Jesus was moved with pity to the depths of his being. So this is controversial, because it was ascending to the clinky offence of a leper had the audacity to invade your personal space. That was taboo. But here we find a story straight away to any readers of Mark that would be going, oh my goodness, this man went to a rabbi, a teacher. Anyway, back to William Barclay. He knows the answers. Wonderful guy. So this is William Barclay. This is not me, by saying, if ever a leper was cured, and real leprosy was incurable, but if it had been cured, and in some cases maybe it was curable, if it was cured, he had to undergo a complicated ceremony of restoration, which is described in another Old Testament book, Leviticus 14. There it is, Leviticus. So you can put me in pause and go to Leviticus 14 and read what it says. Or you can just keep running. But if you're going to watch, if you're saving this video and tomorrow's video and possibly Monday's video, and you're thinking, I'll just watch them all in a one-hour, remember Leviticus 14. So this is the leper. He was examined by the priest. And this is why I wanted to read this out. This is the fascinating bit. 2 birds, 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 2 birds were taken, and one was killed over running water. I'm not making this up. In addition, there were taken cedar, crimson yarn, and hyssop. These things and the living bird were dipped in the blood of the dead bird, and then the live bird was allowed to go free. The man, the leper, the man washed himself and his clothes and shaved himself. 7 days then elapsed, and then he was re-examined. He had then to shave his hair, his head, his eyebrows. Certain sacrifices were made. We're going to be talking about sacrifices in the chapters that follow this, but just accept that sacrifices, things were killed for cleansing. Animals were killed for cleansing. I know. Don't blame me. I'm just reading it. Don't shoot the messenger. Certain sacrifices were made. 2 male lambs without blemish, and 1 ewe lamb. A measure of fine flour mixed with oil, and 1 log, a liquid measure, says William Barclay, of oil. So 1 log of oil. The amounts were less for the poor. That would be me. I've nae custard creams. The amounts were less for the poor. The restored sufferer, this is called the leper, if you had forgotten. The restored sufferer was touched on the tip of the right ear, the right thumb, and the right big toe with blood and oil. He was given a final examination, and if clear of the disease, he was allowed to go with a certificate that he was clean. It's like, well, we can be very cynical and say, oh my goodness. But we're 2,000 years later. The people of those days thought that these rituals, this sort of, killing one bird and letting another bird go and certain herbs all mixed together, it was a wee bit magical, isn't it? It's in the realm of witchcraft and voodoo dolls and stuff like that. But those people believed that if you went through these procedures, either good things would happen or things would get worse. So we shouldn't be too critical of what they went through. They believed that we might struggle to believe that. But I think the fundamental point is that Jesus said, I have cured you. And I'm not going to get into any kind of explanation as to how he was cured. I think that's a faith statement. He either cured the man or he didn't. And I leave that with you. I'm not going to start explaining that. But whatever happened, Jesus said, go to the priest and go through. The priest was going to examine you, and he's going to go through the stuff that William Barclay had written, which I've read to you. But the man doesn't. The man said, forget that. That nonsense. I'm cured. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So he just went about and told everyone. He never had his certificate. He could have been locked up. He said, yesterday or 5 minutes ago I had leprosy, now I'm clean. Bring it on, dancing down the street. That then furthered Jesus' reputation as this is not just a healer. Now, healers were 10 a penny in those days. There was so many healers, it was unbelievable. You couldn't go to Woolworths without bumping into one. Oh no, Woolworths is shut now. Shows you my age. You couldn't go outside without the police locking you up. You know, what am I talking about? I'm losing it again. Lack of custard creams. But there were lots of healers in Jesus' day. But this was a man whose healing ministry went the extra mile. He was touching one of the untouchables. And not only doing that, he was curing this man who was so overjoyed. He had no other option but to share the news with other people. Forget the priest and all that malarkey and killing birds and having to find a ewe and a lamb and look, I'm clean. So Jesus is beginning to get a reputation as a healer extraordinaire, extraordinaires, he was getting a reputation as a healer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop there, and that's me. I feel as if I should be celebrating. After 13 days, we've got to the end of chapter 1. Palm Sunday tomorrow from the Old Kirk, and we'll see how we get on. And I will see you tomorrow.